Okay, hello, good evening, welcome. It's another week. It's another Monday. Here we are, and it's a long show title, but it's kind of ended up being copywriting. So, copywriting. Uh, and a cough right at the beginning. Excellent. Okay, let's get this underway because this is an interesting one, isn't it? How to change people's minds. How to change people's minds. Well, isn't that a kind of a woo-woo kind of topic. Um, so let me just resize this. There we go. And do this. And there we go. Right. So the first thing I need to clear up, I guess, is that I'm talking about changing people's minds. So I'm not talking about persuasion or what most people think of is coercion, really. Because persuasion is really just, helping people to come to their own right decision. And coercion is forcing them to come to your decision. But I'm not even talking about either of those. I'm talking about changing people's minds. Okay, so you can relax because it's not coercion and it's not persuasion. It's changing people's minds. So what's that about? So there's things that people know and believe. Generally, it's what they believe more than what they know. We all kind of run on gut instinct. And then there's what they want. Okay, and that's their agenda. Okay, that's their agenda. What they want, and they know what they know now. And maybe they know how to get from A to B, or maybe they don't. And then you come along with your agenda. Okay, and if your agenda isn't their agenda, when it won't be because their agenda is for them and your agenda is for you. Okay, I'm just going to put their agenda down there. So everything they do is driven by this, what they want. And everything that you do is driven by you because it's what you want. So how do we change people's minds and basically make you important in their agenda? And the very, very, I think, can I say very again? No, I won't. The very logical thing about that is basically to frame what you want in terms of what they want. Okay, to frame what you want in terms of what they want. Okay, that's simply it. Because at the moment, they probably don't realise why what you want helps them at all. And if we can reframe what they know and believe with what we have, and that serves their agenda, then they'll listen, basically. And that's all we need to do. Okay, so it's not persuasion, it's not coercion. It's really simply, I guess we would say, what would we say? We would say it's simply it's probably not the word I'm going to end up using, but anyway, re-informing them. Okay, or we could call it giving them all the facts. Because if you don't have all the facts, you can't make up your mind. And that's with the classic expression, you don't know what you don't know. Because if you knew it, then you'd know that you didn't know it. But you don't know what you don't know. Let me make that a bit bigger so that it's actually possible to see it. Ba-ding. There we go. Something like that. Oh dear, it's still not big enough. There we go. That's big enough. Okay, so as I say, it's just simply re-educating, re-informing them, giving them all the facts, because they don't know what they don't know, and we want to make what our agenda is relevant to their agenda, and we basically in this circle we show them how that happens. So let's pick an example. So again, as you haven't commented below the video, or the live stream, sorry, which appears as a video, what you do and what you want, I'm going to talk about what I do and what I want. So my current product is a SaaS. It's called Anytime Webinars, and it's supposed to be an automated webinar replay thing, but it's not, because it feels like live and it acts like live. So you need to check it out to really understand it, because I can't explain it in a few sentences. I'm still trying, but I haven't managed to do that yet. Because obviously when I crack that, then everybody will understand what the hell I'm talking about, which would be great. But this is the problem when you have an idea and it comes to life, and then you have to explain to people what it is without them seeing it. So short answer is go see it, which you will do when I finish making the video. Anyway, so here's the thing: Anytime Webinar. So just as a very a wrong label. It's about where can I put it? Up there somewhere. Can I do that? Yes. It's basically, as a label, as a wrong label. I just want to stress it's a wrong label, because I don't want you to think this is what it is. It's basically, if I could type, automated webinar video replays. Okay, that isn't actually what it is, but that's what people will pigeonhole it as. Okay, so the problem I have is that there are loads of people out there who may not actually want it, but there are also a load of people who do want it or would want it, but they don't know that they want it. Now, obviously, if somebody doesn't want it, then that's not who I'm talking to. But I do have to question why they wouldn't want it, because it's probably, as we said, in one of their, beliefs, or what they think they know. Because, what this system does is it lets them get more reach. Okay, and everybody wants more reach, because, and the tagline, or one of the taglines, is it's for people who have a story to sell. Okay, that's my neat little tagline there, and that should be everybody, because everybody has a story that they want to sell. Basically, what they do or whatever. Even people in a job, sell themselves, between different companies at interviews and all that kind of stuff, and they want promotion and all this kind of thing. And so that everyone has a story to sell. Now, obviously, this isn't really meant for people, at work. It's not a career product that I can think of at the moment. But for anybody who has their own business, or who wants to stop working in a job and get their own business, then as soon as they have a business and they have something to sell, then these are the people that I'm talking to. So, I am talking to a particular subset of people in a particular niche, and that niche is, people with a story to sell. But if they have a story to sell, then webinars are a great way of, doing it, because it's, event marketing, and event marketing is very powerful, okay, because it has, urgency, scarcity. I've got the other one. Anyway, authority will be one of them. Okay, reciprocity. I didn't play that word. Reciprocity. Anyway, you read it on the screen. Reciprocity, however it's pronounced. Reciprocity. Anyway, whatever. Really should have picked a easier word to spell. Anyway, that's completely wrong. But although it hasn't highlighted it for some reason, I don't know why that is. Anyway, maybe it is spelled like that. It didn't look right. Anyway, but and it could have. I've forgotten that one now. Where they pay back. Oh no, that is reciprocity. So I've done that one. Authority and consistency. and micro commitments. Okay, and I can walk you through all those, but they should be fairly obvious. But basically, if they made the decision to come, then that's a micro commitment. And if they bother to come, then it must be because they believed it was going to help them. So then they're going to need to be consistent by staying and responding and reacting and all that kind of stuff, because of their own earlier opinion. So that's where that comes in. Obviously authority, because you're giving them the information that's really good that they can use. You're giving them information and value for free. Obviously there's a close at the end, but nonetheless the event is supposed to give them value. So if you give them value, then they owe you something back. So that's the I can't say that word. I'm sure I spelled that wrong. Anyway, and because it's an event, okay, it's got urgency in it, and because the event will be over, there's scarcity in it. So all these things come in. This is like the, Dr. Kyle Deeney's, not hat trick, but whatever many there are, all in one, because it's got all these elements in it. Okay, so consistency really is the micro commitment. So there we go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of the, I think it's 8 or 9, so that's 5 of, the Dr. Caldini's, whatever it is, I forgot what the book's called now, but anyway, Laws of Persuasion or something, whatever it's called, I've forgotten, to be honest. He doesn't read my books, why should I remember the title of his? Whatever his book's called, the one I mean anyway. So, event marketing is very powerful. So people with a story to sell, why on earth would they not want this? How could anybody possibly say that they don't want it? It's because they don't understand that all this is available. Okay, now that's for webinars though, and I'm talking about automated webinars. So how does that work? Well, the trouble with webinars is that they're live, and you can only do so many of them, and you can only reach so many people at a time. So that's where automated webinar replays come in, because basically automated webinars, it gives you basically, I mean not practically, but in terms of all limits that we can think of, unlimited perpetual reach. Okay, so you just need to send traffic to the automated webinar. Now the problem with automated webinars though is that the bad side of it is that the automation means that they're not live. It means it's not really an event, and the worst thing of all is it means that there's no interaction because it's a replay, it's not live. So what my thing does, and you'll have to see it in action, is it makes them have automated interaction. Basically, it doesn't describe it very well, does it? It's not that the interaction is the same, which is what you're probably thinking of when I say automation, but what I mean is that the interaction is basically live and genuinely reactive, but it's automated. So I'm going to call it auto magical actually, because it is kind of magical. Okay, so it's as live, but it just happens to be automated. I know that's a real kind of head mess, but that's what it does. That's why you need to see it. Anyway, so you can see from that example that I've given you there that I've kind of already talked you around, because if you've got something to sell, okay, where is it? There it is. If you've got something to sell, then webinars are a great way of doing it. Okay, and webinars have the limitation of live. Okay, and then automated webinars have the advantage of perpetual and unlimited reach, but the bad thing is that they don't have interaction. So now I come along and I add auto magical interaction to it. So now you can see, if I'm not lying to you, obviously, you'd be thinking, well, that's if it's true, then that's interesting. So obviously I have to come up with the goods and I have to prove it to you and show it to you. But, if you give me the benefit of the doubt for 1 second, it's interesting now. So when we started this webinar, or live stream I should say, you weren't at all interested in an anytime webinar system, probably, unless you just, coincidentally happened to be looking at them, because you were looking at how to scale. But, probably, 99% of you, or anyone ever watching this, didn't come to this live stream expecting to want an anytime webinar system. Okay, so I have effectively reframed it because, you have what you want, but if you're in business, okay, if you're not in business, then I can't help you. But if you are in business and you've got something to sell, then, undoubtedly one of the things you want to do, it may not be, all of them, but one of the things you definitely want to do is you want to reach more people because you have a story to sell. So you didn't know about automated webinars, or it wasn't on your mind, or you tried in the past and it failed because they're not interactive, or whatever the reason is. But you didn't come to this live stream expecting automated webinars to be part of your wish list. But now that I've explained it to you, now it is. So what I've done is I've given you all the facts. Okay, you may have not known, well, because I only just invented it, so it hasn't even existed, last week. So, I've told you about something new. Okay, some facts that you didn't have. It's new. So, as I say, you don't know what you don't know. So now I've told you something that you don't know, and now that you know it, you can see how that fits in with what you want to do. Okay, it's not what I want to do. Obviously, I want to sell you the automated webinar platform, but what you want to do is you want to sell more of your own stuff. But now we have this synergy where my thing helps you achieve your thing, and in this circumstance, the only qualifier, okay, is in my particular case anyone in business for themselves. Okay, and even as a staff person, what on earth have I written there? You probably want to go to your boss and tell them about it, because it would probably really help your company to do it. So whoever you are, it's probably interesting. But the main thing is, if you run your own business and you've got your own things to sell, it's super interesting, because this will help you sell it. So the only thing now is that now I have to kind of put it at the top of the list. So now it's on the list, but now I have to put it at the top of the list. But what did I do? I haven't coerced you. I didn't put a gun at your head and say buy this or the rabbit gets it or anything like that. Okay, I didn't even make you feel guilty or bad or question. Put doubts in your not conscious, but in your mind that you're a bad person, or to be a good person you had to have this. All I'm saying, basically all I did was I said, I know that what you want to do is sell your own stuff, but look, I've got a thing which will actually help you to sell your own thing. Let me, I know you don't believe me, but give me the benefit of the doubt for a second and let me show you the system with the tour video. And let me show you the figures and how it works in the real world and how it actually achieves, that part of your goal. And now that just basically reframes it, gives you all the information you didn't know, and it gives you, more of the facts. Okay? No, that should be all or more. Maybe I'm being hippie saying more. But anyway, give them more of the facts. Something like that. It's probably not all the facts, because telling you all the facts would take a lifetime, and it's a moving target because more facts were coming in. Another fact has come in. Let me update what I'm telling you. So, it'd be a long conversation anyway. But so I haven't, as I say, I haven't coerced you, and I haven't persuaded you either, really, because all I've really done is informed you. I'll leave it like that. And that's it. So I mean, it's just finding, this common framework. This commonality. I won't even make it bigger, but what it says, if you can't read it, is commonality. It would if I could spell it. Commonality. Is it? Is it? It's finding the common ground. Sorry. And putting it, reframing it. I don't know if it's framing or reframing, but probably reframing it. So my headset's falling off. There we are. So that it's Wi-Fi FM. What's in it for them? So, that's basically it. Now, here comes, so basically, we said we need to find the common ground, right? So, let's put that up there. There we go. So this is the next stage of finding the common ground. So, I found it pretty easily and quickly, because, I know that basically applies to anyone in business for themselves. Okay, because the tagline, as I told you, if selves is a word on its own. I've only ever seen it as them, have I? No, I don't know. But the tagline is, for people who have a story to sell, which basically means anyone who's in business for themselves. But the problem we've got when we go deeper into this is that that's going to work for a certain number of people, but there's going to be another set of people, and these are just 4 of the objections that sprang to my mind. There's probably a shed load more, but these are the ones that came to my mind first. So the trouble is what do they need to know? And this is a thing that we've talked about before in other shows. Where are we? There. The basic thing is, there's where they are today. Make that just a teeny bit bigger. Make the box a bit bigger. Okay, there's where they are today. There's where they want to be. Okay, and then there's the path, to getting there. And there's always going to be these, little, roadblocks. I'll just put blocks so that it kind of fits. In the way, and there'll be multiples of them, and the path to it won't be a straight line, and all that kind of stuff which we, have drawn before in the other shows. But the main thing about this, hang on, let me just draw that so I can concentrate on what I'm saying. There we go. There'll be these roadblocks, in the way, and there'll be, I'll do a couple of them, there'll be multiple of them. So, the question is, and one of those roadblocks will be, except for that one. Well, actually, this is a load of them, but anyway, what do they need to know or be able to do already? Okay, because if they haven't got everything they need to do it, then they can't do it, and that's nothing to do with, my product or even particularly them. It's just that they need to know certain things in order to, to do this, in order to use this. So that's a major roadblock, and it's probably several of them. But in a summary, that's the problem. So in order to do webinars, they have to know what their story is, okay, what it is, and also how to tell it, and also, to be honest, who's interested in it. Okay, which is the same as what I did with knowing that it's anyone in business for themselves. Now, there'll be a subset of people who will be particularly, poignant for this, but generically, that's who I'm talking to. But I should drill it down more than that. So what do they need to do? So if they don't know what their story is, or they don't know how to tell it, or they don't know who's interested in it, or they don't know what their story is, then they can't do a webinar because they don't know what they're going to say yet. Okay, they know that they have a product, but they don't know the story of the product. So, for instance, what I've done with mine today, the Anytime Webinars thing, is, I know what the product is. I know it's an automated webinar solution, okay? But I know that really the story is this, okay? The story behind it, the outcome, what it does, what it achieves, the success it brings to, to other people. That's basically what the story is. Success it brings to them. Okay, that's the important thing, to them. Okay, they don't care about you. It's the success that they're going to have. That's what they're interested in. So if you don't know how to point out what the success is that they're going to have, then you can't tell your story. But as I say, the story behind my thing is I know who it's for. I know all this, thing and the event marketing, and basically, the main thing I know is that it fits in with their agenda, is that they want to sell more stuff, and my thing will help them to sell more stuff. So that's the story behind it. And obviously, the sub story behind the story is that webinars are great, but they have a problem that they're live, and that automated webinars are great, but they have a problem because they're not live and they don't interact. So, that's the sub story, that I need to, be able to tell. Okay, and that's what it is in my case. Another thing, there might be business people or potential business people, but they don't have anything to sell. Now, obviously, I shouldn't be necessarily reaching them if they've got nothing to sell, but it happens all the time. There are a load more people who are interested in doing business than are actually doing business. So before they're going to buy my thing, I need to get them into business, okay? Or refer them to where they can, do it. And then when they've done that, then they can come back to me, okay? But, they're not going to buy my thing until they have something to sell, because, that's the other half of the story. You have the story on one end and you have the thing to sell on the other. So you need both. Another thing that, they may just not do or want to do or think that they can do or think that they aren't able to do, more correctly, webinars, because they may be camera shy. They may be tongue-tied. They may not know how to write, the script or do the presentation. Okay, they may not think they have the authority to talk about the subject, which would be a bit silly if they've actually got a product in it. But anyway, people have these things, and they might not just do it because they have a fear of failure and they don't know if webinars will work. So that's another thing. So now I've got to basically, nurture people to be ready to do webinars. That's another roadblock. Okay, these are basically all these roadblocks. And they won't all be in a nice, neat line like this, but you get the picture. Okay, there'll be a load of roadblocks. But people are at different stages and they have different roadblocks. So, these are 4 that I've identified, straight away. And they may not want to do automated webinars because they're not at the stage where they need to scale. Okay, and they may not know how to generate traffic in order to scale it. Okay, so if they're not ready to scale, then again, that's another problem that I need to, solve for them before they're ready to buy my thing. Now, obviously, I can just try and find people who don't have these roadblocks, and if I can do that easily, then obviously I'll do that. But, there's a whole heap of people who are sort of coming up on the line, if you like, who will fit into these 5, roadblock categories. What am I doing there? Hang on. There we are. Okay, so, my sub-story is the status quo. Webinars being live and replays being non-interactive. Okay, everything I explained to you. So yeah, these are the first 4 roadblocks that sprang to my mind. They may not even be the top ones in people's minds. That that's one of the things you need to research in your business. But what I'm basically teaching you here is that in order to get to their agenda, even if your agenda helps them, what else is blocking them? Okay, and so we need to find this commonality between what you do and what they want to do. But if they've got roadblocks, then that's still something that we need to sort out for them, or at least refer them to somebody who can sort that out for them, or find people who don't have these roadblocks. But that's harder, or potentially harder. So what we need to do is basically, the main question is, I'm sure I wrote that down somewhere, I'm sure I wrote that down. Okay, let's put a thing in. So the main thing is, let me just make it a big blue one. I'm sure I wrote this down. What do they need to know, or be able to do to get to your stage? Okay, so in my case is what do they need to be able to do or know in order to do webinars, and to do automated webinars in particular. And these are some of the things that might get in their way. So I need to address these ideally, or at least, as I say, be able to refer them somewhere so that they can get over that. And that's the common ground. Okay. So if we go back to the original thing, what can I say to make you change your mind? It's the first thing is that they're gonna, everything they think about, decide on, it is based on their existing beliefs and knowledge. Okay, so in order to solve that, we really need to be able to know who we're talking to. Okay, that's why we have to niche down. That's why anyone in business isn't really good enough, to be honest. I need to work out who specifically will benefit the most and be the most affluent, to be honest, to want my thing. But unless I know who I'm talking to, I can't even, I can't deal with their existing beliefs. So I don't know which of these or which other ones are stopping them from wanting the thing. Also, they'll have core values in terms of what they want to achieve, and how they want to do it. Okay, so if they're super camera shy, or they want it to be 100% automated, well, actually they're in luck, because my thing is 100% automated, and they won't need to be on camera, or or they can get somebody in. So in their case, that my thing's a perfect solution for them. But again, I have to find them and then educate them that that's the way it is. So their existing beliefs, and then their core values, and then there'll be other things in there, like trust, and then there'll be the classic question that always comes up, but will it work for me? So there's a point when, even though they believe you and they trust you, they're just not sure if it will work for them. And again, that's a big objection you need to cover. And again, that's another roadblock. Basically is, will it work for me? Okay, and people come up with the most bizarre reasons why they're different and unique, and that it might not. Okay, but they're all kind of self-invented, really. Most 99% of the time, I think, because everybody's got basically the same needs, really. So will it work for me is one of the main objections. I'll put there. Will it? There we go. Work for me. But that one always comes up. People always come up with a variation which they're not sure about whether it still works or not, and that's part of the the job of overcoming these roadblocks. And yeah, as I say, that's one of the most popular questions. Yeah, we have to frame it so that it works for them. And one of the easiest ways to do that is a word called Imagineering. Now, unfortunately, it's trademarked by Walt Disney, but I think I thought of it first. But that aside, you know, basically, if you can, you know, give people results in advance, okay, and actually, you know, prove to them, you know, that it's working. If you can show them it working, then they're more likely to believe you. So if you can get them to do it in advance, then you know, then they'll believe that not only that it works, but that they can do it. So results in advance are really, you know, very important. Show them it working, and show them, you know, the results that others have. So that's kind of like case studies and testimonials. Okay, and you know, and as we, you know, as I said, you know, basically make them imagine their life, not yours, their life after it works for them. Okay, and they're the kind of, you know, powerful persuaders, and that's really the you know, that's the bit where we're changing people's minds, because you know, they're at the stage where they may not have thought of it. Now they're thinking, but will it work for me? They've got nothing to gauge it against. Okay, and that's, you know, the problem, because they've never had, you know, this thing working for them ever before. They probably don't know anyone who has it working for them. So they've got nothing to gauge it against. So again, when you supply these things, you're basically supplying them, you know, with the proof that you know, that it works, and that it, you know, should work for them. Okay, and obviously you can do, you know, risk reversal and all that kind of stuff to help them, you know, decide. But you know, the main thing is that they have to, you know, rather than the risk reversal, let's take the risk out of it to start with, by making them happy that they can get results out of it. And again, if we give them results in advance, they can see it for themselves in some small way. If we can get them to imagine what their life would be like after they've had success with it, then again, that's going to help them to, you know, to have the desire to reach to that stage. Okay, until you get them to want to get to that stage, then you know, you can't really you know, help them. And you know, this is really the, you know, the key thing, is that the, yeah, reframing, which, as I say, may be telling them things that they don't know, is to enable them to get to this stage. Okay, and that's really, you know, the reframing. As I say, we're not coercing them and we're not persuading them. We're just reframing what they think they know, or maybe it is what they know, in order to, you know, to enable them to take action, because they now want it and they now believe it, and they know what they have to do to get it. Okay, that was a very important phrase. I should probably write that down, but I'm not going to. So that's, you know, that's how important this is. So that's basically, you know, how we change people's minds, is that we give them the facts that they didn't know, which that are not change the date, yeah, which are sorry, I lost my thread there. Yeah, which is what they need to know in order to, you know, to do that. I think I finished that sentence. Anyway, so I could go on about, it's a bit more to go on with that, but I'll leave it there. So, yeah, that's basically it. So, you know, as I say, it's basically, you know, everybody has their own agenda. You have your own agenda. The way that you get people to change their minds is that you show them how your thing will help them to get their thing. And if there are roadblocks in the way, then you help them, or at least refer them to somebody who can remove those roadblocks for them. But this is how we do it, and it's basically just telling them, what they need to know. Obviously, it won't be for everybody. And one of the things you should be looking to do is to basically qualify, who you can help and who you can't help, and then work on on that assumption. But we can wait to just find the perfect people, or we can try and help more people simply by helping them get across the roadblocks that they think that they have right now. Okay, so that's it. So I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you next week, again on Monday, for the next kind of whatever episode on copywriting, marketing, and whatever else this Monday show stood for. So I shall see you then. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get a lot out of it. As I say, think, how you can fit your agenda into their agenda, what commonality is, and what do they need to know, which is really one of the roadblocks. To get there. Okay, that's it. See you then. Bye bye for now. Bye bye. Bye bye.